Hi YouTube. This is well, let me start by saying it's been a while. So a lot has gone down and has gone on. So I'm no longer um pregnant. I had my baby September 7th. Um I was induced. So she was quiet the whole time until I started the video. Um, at 38, no, around 37 weeks, no, 36 weeks, I had to go twice a week to the doctor to be hooked up to the NST monitor, and they were monitoring her activity. So at 38, no, at 37 weeks, she wasn't moving like they wanted her to on the monitor. She had been before, but throughout my pregnancy, she didn't really have a moving pattern like most doctors say. She moved pretty much when she wanted to, so I knew that she was fine, but the doctors were concerned. So at 38 weeks and I'll say 5 days, she um, I was in the doctor, and she was moving um like she was supposed to, but when they checked me, I hadn't thinned out at all and I hadn't dilated. So she basically, my doctor basically said that I was supposed to have thinned out and dilated some by then. I know my mother, when she was pregnant with me, she never thinned out until she went to the day I was born. So, but the doctor was concerned um, with how labor and delivery was going to go if I hadn't thinned out already. So, I went ahead and, she talked to me about induction. And I went ahead and I went into the hospital on the 6th. And when they checked me then, I still hadn't thinned out at all. I checked in at like 7:30 in the morning. And about 9:30 she came in and she checked me, and that's when they actually induced me. Um, at at first, everything was cool. I everything was cool. I was feeling some contractions. At first I could handle it. It was just like some period cramps, some menstrual cramps or whatever, and then they kind of was like, oh, okay, because I had bad menstrual cramps anyway. But I was like, you really don't know, especially with your first. You don't know. Well, with any pregnancy, you don't know how your contractions are going to be or how strong they're going to be. So my contractions weren't coming as soon as they would like. So they kept up in the pitocin. So it was coming faster than I could really handle. So what ended up happening was around like 6 in the evening, I was like, okay, I hadn't dilated enough to get the epidural, so I opted to get the pain medicine through the IV. That was lovely. I promise you, if I could take it home with me with an IV, I would. It was like an instant. It was like instant. I went to sleep. The only thing I remember, people coming in to check me and everything. I remember my mom and my boyfriend talking, and I remember talking back, but I know I was doped up, and I remember the doctor coming in to break my water. So yeah, but other than that, I really wasn't there. The medication started to wear off around midnight because I had dilated enough to take me to labor and delivery. So they moved me to the room, and I remember this because they had my boyfriend helping move the bed from one room to another, and he bumped me into a wall, and I remember that. So I slept a little bit after we got to labor and delivery room. But after that, the contractions, like, really, I expected them to be like something different or feel like something different, but they really felt like my menstrual cramps. But the only thing is that there was no relief. They kept coming, like they were coming like every minute. So I finally was like, I need an epidural. I had my boyfriend rubbing my feet, and then my mom was rubbing my back, and it just was not helping. So finally, after the anesthesiologist came, and everybody was so nice. She gave me my epidural. That was fine. It wasn't like as bad. It was like a little sting or whatever. Pretty much, it felt like an IV in my hand. But something, like, I knew when she did it at first, something was not right, because I know I was supposed to feel like numb, like, immediately, or something to that effect. But she kept telling me to lay on my back so the medication could work or even out on both sides. But I was extremely uncomfortable on my back. So what ended up happening was I was numb on my left side, but I was still feeling contractions on my right side. And that went on for a couple of hours. Finally, I was just like, they kept checking me, and they was like, you're 6 centimeters. And then I went from 6 to 8. I'm trying to remember because it was a little rough, but I was 6 centimeters for a while. So finally, I was just like, you had to get the anesthesiologist back up here, because I'm feeling contractions on one side, the other side is numb. So when the anesthesiologist came, she was like, you should have called me sooner, because I don't want you to be a trooper. We don't want you to be in pain. So when I sat up, she realized that part of the epidural had slipped out of my back. So this was around like 3:45. So she was giving me another epidural. And when she gave me that epidural, it was like immediate, like I was numb, except for the fact that around like when she was finished, because it took her about 10-15 minutes to actually get everything together and actually complete it. So around like 5 o'clock, I'm telling the nurse, like, while I'm sitting on the side of the bed, and I'm like, I gotta use the bathroom. So I lay down, and I'm feeling fine. Everything is good, except for this feeling like I'm about to poop myself. So I told the nurse, and I was like, I feel like I'm about to use the bathroom on myself. And she started laughing. She was like, let me check you, because you might be fully dilated. So basically, I went from 6 to sorry, my hair. I went from 6 centimeters dilated to fully dilated in about an hour and a half. That was crazy, because she was like, you're fully dilated. And my mom heard it, and she jumped up. My boyfriend was asleep, and I think he got a little nervous, because when he got up, his he said his foot went to sleep, but I think he got a little numb, because the nurse had me push a little bit to get her moving down the birth canal. So I pushed a little bit. That was like, when she checked me, it was like 5 after. So we were waiting on the doctor, and she told me, the nurse kept saying, you can't push because we're waiting on the doctor. That is the worst feeling ever, let me tell you. To go through a contraction and not push is so hard. My legs were shaking. It was a lot. It took a lot out of me. So the doctor finally came. I held off through 3 contractions from not pushing, and I actually pushed a little bit, because that was the only relief you could get. So when the doctor finally came, the doctor finally got there about 15 after, 10-15 after maybe. I want to say 15 after, because the clock was like right there. And so my mom was trying not to look, but the doctor was like, you gotta see. So I pushed, And right when I was about to say, I really can't do this, because when they start to crown, it's like it burns a little bit. So um, right when I was about to say that, she popped right on out, and I had her at 525. So that wasn't too bad. But I ended up staying in the hospital 5 days because she had jaundice. And they don't tell you when you're breastfeeding, if your milk is not in and their levels are high, they can become dehydrated and they can't bring those levels down because they're not getting, you know, your breast milk's not in, so they're not getting um, the nutrients that they need to have a regular bowel movement or to urinate. That really, really scared me because I thought it was like something wrong with me or whatever. So she had to be underneath the lights. And what really scared me too is that she was losing weight. She lost almost 11% of her weight from birth. And I just didn't know what to do with that. But she had to stay under the lights, and we had to supplement, and we were able to come home. So that's pretty much my labor and delivery story. Um, it was just two people in the room with me, and that's my mom and my boyfriend. So that's it. So let's let you. If she doesn't cry, because she's a little fussy right now. You're fussy. Yes, you're fussy. Huh? I know you're about to go to sleep. And she might be a little hungry. Ooh. So, she's fussy. She's really fussy right now. Say hi. You don't want to talk. Yeah, she's about to go now. She's got the longest little fingers. Yeah, she's hungry. So I'm gonna end the video, and she was well worth it. Being in labor for almost 24 hours. I would do it all over again. So that is my labor and delivery. It's kind of hard to believe that after so many weeks, you're here and you're actually holding them. Oh. And, my boobs look huge because I'm breastfeeding. So it's time for her to eat. So, bye, guys.